So this is the second video, and the first thing I'm going to do is do window. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going to do view, and I'm going to do fit page and window. Okay. And now I want to import a graphic. And this is it was actually pretty hard for me to see. But what I want to do, I'm going to zoom here. I'm going to take my zoom tool and I'm going to click here a couple times. And it's still hard to see. But right here, there is this magenta margin. And then right here is a column guide. Okay. So you're going to have to really zoom in and really look for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I don't have anything selected by doing edit, deselect all. I did have something selected, so I'm glad I did that. And I am going to import a file. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm coming over to the properties and I'm going to do a quick action. I'm going to do import file. And then I'm going to click on dining room. I'm actually going to, in this case, double click on it. And then I'm going to go up to this guy that you can barely see. And I'm going to come down and it fits within that. Okay. And um, the graphics added to the page, the graphics frame is created automatically. Using the selection tool, I'm just going to kind of show you a couple things. I can select the middle handle and move it down to crop it. Okay, if I wanted, I'm going to do Control Z because I don't want to do that. I can also use the selection tool and come over here to the center and move it um, a little bit. And did you see how the top of it disappears because it's not part of the text frame? So I can move it up and it stays within the text frame. Okay, so I'm going to do Control Z. I'm going to go back to where I was before. Okay. So I'm going to go edit, deselect all. And so I've done that. And now what I would like to do is, you know what, I need to do one more. Okay. So it's still within my original text frame now. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use AI to generate a stock photo for this. And there's a couple reasons why you would do that. Sometimes you get lucky and you like what you see. Sometimes you put this in as a placeholder to give you an idea what it's going to look like, and then you go and take that photograph, or you give instructions to someone else to take that photograph. But in this case, we're going to do it for real. So I'm going to, with my selection, I'm going to click on this graphics over here. Okay. And I am going to come over here in the properties and actually, wait a second, I'm going to show you something. So when I click on here, my contextual taskbar down here says text to image. Okay. So I'm going to click on this here. And here, I'm going to write in here, I want to do basil plant in a pot. Okay, so I try and give as much detail as I want, as I can, and I can choose between art and a photo. Since the other thing I have in there is a photo, I'm going to keep that there. So I'm going to go generate. And look, it's generating 3 different pictures here. So it takes a while for this to happen. The first one is the one that's going to show up in this object frame. Okay, so that's the first one. If I don't like that one and I want this one, I can put that in. I can click on the third one. So I'm going to do the third one, I think. Okay, so I'm going to click on the panel so I can see that. I'm going to do Edit, Deselect All, and I'm going to choose File, Save. So save frequently in case you haven't figured that out when we're working with these Adobe products. That helps a lot. All right, so now we're just going to work with objects. So the building blocks of InDesign are objects, and the objects are text frames, graphic frames, lines, object frames, okay? So now we're going to rotate an object. So let's go to View, the page in Window. Do you see that way over here is a design? Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is go into the selection tool, and we are going to bring over this to the right of edible blossoms, okay? And we're going to fine tune the placement looking at the properties panel. So here in X, I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to do 1.85. And I'm going to tab to the Y, and I'm going to do 0.05. And then tab to the width, I'm not going to change it. Tab to the height, I'm not going to change it. And then I'm going to tab here. And this angle, this is actually the rotation angle. So here I'm going to do -10. And then I'm going to press enter. And that's what I want. Okay, so now we're going to change some objects stroke and fill. So I'm going to do edit, deselect all. So you can tell that I do this a lot just to make sure I don't, because if I have something else selected, I might change something that I don't want to have selected. And I'm going to check, I'm going to click on the white direct selection tool here. And then I'm going to click on the white flower, okay, which was created using a Zapf dingbat and then converted to outline. All right, so I'm going to click on the fill box here in the properties panel under appearance. And I'm going to change the color to green dark. Okay. Now I'm in the direct selection. If I want to switch over, I want you to look what I'm doing in the type. I could just press the V and it would click right over to the selection arrow. Okay. So now I'm going to click this black horizontal line that's at the back. That black looks a little weird because it's heavy and black, and nothing else is heavy and black on here. And then over here, I'm going to click on the stroke box under appearance. And I'm going to choose green medium. Looks better. So I'm kind of going through here and using some of the same colors. You can tell that green is a color used throughout. Now I'm going to add a QR code. So I want to go here, right to this area. I'm going to click over here on the pasteboard to make sure nothing else is selected. I'm going to go to Object, Generate QR Code. And here I'm going to type you can really do anything as long as it's a real thing. And the type is plain text here. And then I am clicking the color tab. And I'm going to make this green dark. Okay. And then I'm going to press OK. Now the QR code is now loaded here. Okay. And then I'm going to drag this here. Okay. There it is. And it stayed proportional when I dragged it, if you noticed. So now in the transform box, I'm going to make sure that that upper left-hand reference point is still there. In X, I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to do 4.9, tab to Y, 3.15, tab to width, which is going to be 0.6, tab to height, which is going to be 0.6. Okay. And then I'm going to press that. And even though I did that, now this is not proportional. So this is still selected. So I'm going to come over here to where it says frame fitting. And the first one says fit frame proportionately. When I click that, it kind of resizes within that text frame that I created. When I was doing all of these numbers for the transform, I was changing the size of the frame and then adding this, put the QR code in it correctly. Okay. So this text frame now, let me kind of click out here in the corner so nothing is selected. These are text frames, right? And so right now it doesn't look like a box, and it doesn't look like a box because the color is the same as the background color. But we are now going to go to Window Styles Object. So I'm going to go Window Styles Object. Okay. So right now, I'm going to click on this left text frame. And then I'm going to click here on the green, let me just change so you can kind of see this, the green stroke and drop shadow. And that is an object style where the fill is white and there's a shadow around it. So now I'm going to do the same thing over here to the right. Green stroke and drop shadow. Awesome. And then I'm going to click on the flower. I just want on the flower. I don't want this whole other frame. And now I'm going to do just a drop shadow on that. Okay. And I'm going to save it. Clicked on the wrong thing. I'm going to do File, Save. And I'm also going to do Edit, Deselect All. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to go over is, I don't know if you've noticed it, but down here at the very bottom, it says there's 13 errors. And the errors are generated by a program called Mailhouse that a printer provided. So the printer is like, I need all of these things, and this is a way that we can make sure that your file is correct. Okay. So I just want to show you how that works. So I am going to, first of all, go to View, Fit Page in Window. And this is what it looks like now. And I'm going to go to Window, Output, Pre-Flight. And Pre-Flight comes in here, and Mailhouse is selected here. All right. And down here, there's 13 errors. I can find the errors. The errors are all under color, and they're all under color space not allowed. Okay. So to view the error, I've kind of looked at this. Now I am clicking the arrow next to color space not allowed. Okay, that did it. And now I'm going to click on the first instance text frame, and the info shows up. It says that the content uses RGB, but we really need a different color mode. So this printer, instead of RGB, is using CYMK. Okay. So I want to change this, and it gives me some hints about that. So I'm going to go up here to Windows, Color, Swatches, and I'm going to come down to Red Bright. And I'm going to double click this swatch, Red Bright. Right now it's RGB, so I'm going to change it to CMYK. And I am going to click OK. Look, it got rid of all of the errors except for one. And this error comes with that generated AI image. Okay. So I have a choice. I could, I need to change this image to one that uses CYMK instead of RGB. But for now, I'm not gonna play around with that. I just wanted to kind of show you that there is that option, which is really great to develop those professional skills of getting a file ready. Okay. So here is what our final version looks like. I'm going to click on the outside, so make sure I don't have anything done. I'm going to do Control S. But I want to see what this actually looks like now. So right now I have all these lines on here, I have the paragraphs. I'm going to come down to the bottom of my toolbox and I'm going to go to Preview. And Preview shows me my entire image without any lines. And so I can kind of do some final looks to make sure it looks good. And now I am ready to submit. So I'm going to save it and then I'm going to export. And I'm going to export it as an Adobe PDF print. And that's what I am submitting. Export. And that's my final export.